the drill that we use to learn how to use the arms would be to hold the club with just your left hand.
Okay.
And take your right hand and put it underneath your wrist.
Yep.
Yeah, great. And the goal would be to push your left arm, your lead arm upwards.
Okay.
This way with this arm.
Okay.
As you have the navel turn, to where the goal is to have your,
like this?
Yes, exactly. Almost, you can bring it back a little bit more as you do that. Yeah, great, perfect. So we want basically the hand and the shoulder to be the same height when you feel like you reach that 50 or 60 amount of torso turn.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I want to talk to you today about Live View Golf. Now, you guys hear me say all the time that you need feedback when you're practicing. You need to know if you're actually doing what you're trying to do, and the best way to give yourself feedback ultimately is video. And not only is video the best way to give yourself feedback, but being able to see yourself simultaneously as you're doing a movement is the best form of video feedback. It's the best way I've seen to make changes in your swing and be able to correlate the differences between your feels and your reels. Live View is super easy to use and set up. Simply set it up behind or in front of you. You connect it with your iPad or phone, pop that on the ground. You can actually do your practice, see yourself as you're doing it, the best way to expedite your process. I encourage you guys to check out Live View Golf. We'll put a link in the description down below with a coupon code. Hey guys, Eric here outside at the Bethlehem Golf Club. In today's video, we're gonna talk about unlocking your backswing, and really a topic that we think can help a lot of you that I really don't think a lot of you have heard before. Obviously, I'm not here by myself. We have Mr. JT Thomas to my left. As you guys know from the videos in the past, JT and I coach together. We do golf schools together. We coach together online at cogornogolf.com. Yep. JT also has an indoor facility, Dollar Bill Divot Club, up in, where are you at in New York?
Staten Island.
Staten Island, New York.
Yeah.
For those of you guys that are up here on the East Coast and the Northeast during the winter, we'll put a link in the description down below if you want to check that out. Would highly recommend it. So JT, let's talk about this unlocking your backswing. And we know, and we talk about, I think we know, that during the backswing, one of the main objectives, like one of my fundamental things I want to make sure I do, is turn.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I think when you and I are working with people, you know, there's two different parts of this. I'd say part one is, do I or does someone have enough turn in general? And then maybe a second piece of that we'll talk about of how and when they do it.
Yeah, when they do it is crucial.
Yeah, that's the key part.
Absolutely.
And so let's say how much you turn. So I come in for a lesson, JT, right? I'm hitting balls at your place, and I get up to the top of my backswing and it looks something like this. We've seen this plenty of times, right? Very little hip turn, very little turn
Torso
here.
turn, yeah.
Shoulders, whatever. And you're like, all right, man, hey, you need more turn. I know I need it. What do I start with? What do I feel? What kind of drills would I do to get more turn during my backswing?
So I think the first thing to understand is why we're turning. So turning in the backswing is really important for creating power. It's really important for creating depth. So basic geometry in the swing to where we can swing from the inside of the ball. Yep. It's a lot harder to hit from the inside of the ball without turn. So most golfers struggle with that, from just basically turning from the top of their body and not turning anywhere from like their sternum down. So yeah. I think that's really important for us to talk about today, is how can we learn to turn from the sternum down.
Got it, okay.
So the top part of our spine's super flexible, but if we don't use the bottom part, then we can't really use the top to our greatest advantage.
Good.
Yeah.
And so if I was hitting some shots, let's say with the no turn, right, like my no turn version of my belt buckle not turning, my shirt buttons and shoulders not turning, something like this.
Yes.
And I make a downswing. Obviously we can see when I hit some of these shots, I have very little depth during my backswing, right? I'm not able to get my hands, and I swung slower there obviously, but I'm not able to get my hands very far up and back. Mm-hmm. And really difficult for me from there to hit from the inside.
Absolutely.
Right from a club path. So if I go back, I have no turn, I have no depth, right? I have no swing length, no power.
No power.
And I'm always gonna wanna swing a little bit more across from there.
Yeah, I was gonna rotate open.
Yeah, exactly. So if I do those same things, let's say this is me, JT, right? I'm in here going like this, and I'm hitting these shots, and they're kind of low, little pulls and fades. Where do I start, right? Okay, I want to do more turn, and I want to feel it. I want drills and feels. How do we start that?
So I think the first thing to start with for someone like you who's not turning, and especially if they're just using their arms to turn, that we need to learn how to turn the torso and how to turn the pelvis.
Okay.
So we've seen a lot of drills where the classic one where we talked about putting something along your shoulder line.
This way.
Yes,
Yep.
so this is a classic one of turning the shoulders. But I think it's way more important to now put one along your torso. So basically put it maybe a couple inches above your navel.
Like here?
Yeah, great.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And you can put your hands on each side of the club like that.
Yep.
And the goal now would be to turn your navel back behind you as much as you can. Yes, exactly. Good.
You'd be feeling like, for me, I'm feeling like belly button back to the camera. Is
belly
that
button
okay?
back to the camera.
My
is great.
stomach's getting a little bigger as I have this club in it.
Yeah, try to get your belly button as far as you can, like behind your back heel. Yes.
More back this way.
Yes, way better.
So belly button's pointed kind of as far back and this way as I can.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're getting the initial part of your turn really from your torso and from your pelvis so that you can have a lot more turn left in your shoulders. If you don't turn exactly, so you notice how much more you had left there to turn.
Yeah.
So that's really important. I would say most people just think of how to turn the shoulders, but they completely forget how to turn the torso.
Okay. So when I go up, if I'm hitting here, right, and we're like condensing maybe a 1 hour lesson into like a minute or two.
For sure.
But if I'm doing that same drill, I come up here, I'm feeling my belly button pointing, for me, kind of the bench back there just to the right of where the camera is.
Yes.
And I'm going to start hitting for that. Now, I know we'll talk timing in a second.
But
just
the
in
basic
general.
motion.
Okay.
Yes.
So belly button back behind me. Yeah, that feels like I'm able to turn. Now, if it looks like I turn a lot, because you never know unless you record it, right? But that feels like I'm turning a lot more compared to normal.
Yes.
Now, as I do this, JT, and I'm feeling my belly button turn back, I mean, that does feel legitimately like I'm turning a lot more than normal.
Yes.
I think when I normally turn more, I feel more chest and shoulders.
Yes.
Probably.
And your navel wouldn't really turn at all. Sometimes, actually, people can turn their navel the opposite direction.
Yeah,
so
okay.
they keep it where it is, and they feel like they're not flexible at all because they're just turning the top, and they're like, I can't turn anymore.
And maybe a lot of times it's not that they're not flexible enough, it's that they're just not doing it correctly.
Yes, they're not doing it correctly at all.
Okay. So belly button, rib cage is kind of what I'm feeling is turning back. Let's do one more of those.
Yes.
And obviously for my old example, here were my hands, right? My new example, you can see my hands travel up and back, probably not a foot or so compared to normal.
I would say you even probably put your hands more in on ones where you don't turn. The
I'd
only
probably
way
go
that
more
you
like
can
this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay, I gotcha. So I wouldn't even, okay, I gotcha. So now as I'm doing the good version here, and you probably tell me I could go even a little farther than that, I would assume.
can,
Yeah,
yes.
okay. So let's do one more belly button. So I like that belly button back behind me. Yeah, that feels good.
Absolutely.
So, you know, as I would do that compared to normal, if I'm the other golfer, I would expect the shot to feel more powerful, probably go higher, and have more of a kind of push hook tendency, right?
Yeah, just a left spin bias.
Left spin by, I like that. Okay, that's an easy way to say that.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. Now, maybe on lesson 1, like that's where you start maybe.
Yeah, that would be where we stop. Just learning how to turn the torso enough to give the top part of our spine the ability to turn the extra amount.
Okay, so do that, get good at that, video that, do the drill, exaggerate as needed. As a checkpoint for that, JT, am I thinking like, all right, shoulders to 90? Like, how do I know if I did it?
So you can put something on the ground for your torso. So then, you know how you have one typically for the shoulders, this would be 90.
Yep.
Instead, we can do one for the torso that would be, you know, let's say, turn it to 60, 60 or 70.
Okay.
The farther you turn the torso, the more you're going to be able to turn your shoulders.
I can cheat it. I can.
Yeah, exactly. You can cheat it. So you want to press it up against your body.
Okay. So I'm almost, JT, feeling like I'm getting that kind of almost at the ball is kind of what I'm feeling.
Yes.
I can almost get that to the golf ball. So pretty, maybe 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock-ish. Okay, that's good as a reference point.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Now, let's say I come back. Okay, I'm the great student that I am. And a week goes by or whatever it is, and I'm like, dude, I got that down pat. But now I do what I do, which is I do it really hard, really early, and I look, you know, maybe more like this.
Yes,
I'm like,
and
but
arms
JT,
go with you.
you said keep turning, turn as much as you can. But then there's a timing element, right?
There's a timing element that's crucial to this.
Yeah.
So it's important that our arms have a much longer distance to travel than our body does in the backswing.
Arms have a much longer distance to travel than our body does during the backswing. Okay.
Yes. And I would say most people have a tendency to pull their arms excessively in too much from how they turn their shoulders, and they don't move them upwards any. So similar to how you would like chop wood.
Yep, okay.
create leverage this way
Okay.
in the swing.
Okay.
And the turn create the depth.
Turn creates the depth.
Yeah, most people would struggle with when they don't have turn to really pull the hands and the arms in, and that basically just makes you not turn even more.
They're like fake depth,
Yes.
trying to pull the arms in.
And also, the more you pull the arms in, the less the body wants to turn, because if you do this now, Eric, set up to that ball,
Yep.
and do one where you have your old arm swing to where you really pull your arms in, but you also turn your torso, so both. Yes, so now your arms are going to be really low, you're going to feel off balance, it's not going to feel great.
Yeah, no,
So,
it does not feel great.
No.
So well, so you said something there that I think is really good, as you do naturally. The hands and arms have a lot more distance to cover than the body.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good one. And so when I'm going back, I'm feeling the arms and hands are more doing this, right? But as I'm doing that, the turning component is what gets them deep.
Creates the depth.
Not as much my arms across my body.
Yes.
So from a timing perspective, as we do this, let's say, okay, I get that. I left my first lesson, I got the belly button deal, right? Now, maybe am I feeling that a little bit later on, ideally? How does that work?
Well, you would feel it. You would feel the belly button and the navel turn immediately.
Okay.
That's fine. But the drill that we use to learn how to use the arms would be to hold the club with just your left hand.
Okay.
And take your right hand and put it underneath your wrist.
Yep.
Yeah, great. And the goal would be to push your left arm, your lead arm upwards.
Okay.
This way with this arm.
Okay.
As you have the navel turn, to where the goal is to have your
Like this?
Yes, exactly. Almost you can bring it back a little bit more as you do that. Yeah, great, perfect. So we want basically the hand and the shoulder to be the same height when you feel like you reach that 50 or 60 amount of torso turn.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So that to me feels, which I go in a little too much, a little bit more kind of straight back-ish.
Yes.
With my arms and hands compared to my body. Okay. And then now from here.
Yeah, from here is when we feel the arm pushing up more as we turn the last little bit that we have left of from the upper, basically from like our torso or our sternum upwards, we get that last little bit of turn.
So like from my setup to that, like, let's just say left arm parallel, I'm feeling like I'm getting back there by my arms moving and my belly button.
Yes.
Now from here, I'm feeling my upper part, my shoulders, upper part of my back, etc.
Yes.
Doing the last part of it.
Yes, as you feel some pulling across with that arm. That's really the point of holding that right hand underneath the left wrist, is you can push that lead arm back a long ways. Yeah, there you go. That's really, really nice. So you feel a stretch along the lats here.
I got like
this
18 pops there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what we see in DJ or Rory.
So
to
if
hit
I
that
go
ball farther.
I gotcha. So if I'm going here with this, I'm really feeling that stretching happening in the last footer. This is the like secret part, right?
Yes.
This is the like tip part, the part that people don't. And that's true. I mean, I do not hear that often. I hear like turn or don't turn, but not really. Hey, the timing of it should be more belly button, core, obliques, etc. early, than that upper part more later on.
So you can imagine if we get all of this turn in by the time the left arm's parallel to the ground, now the body is ready to turn and hit the ball on the downswing. So we can get a little antsy and our body and our arms aren't synced up. So
like if I didn't do that and I was here, I want to go right away.
You want to go right away because you already have all this turn in.
Versus this.
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha.
And so it really sequences the arms finishing the swing with the turn.
Yep.
You see this a lot in let's say DJ or Rory. They have a lot of turn late. Yeah, that's awesome. Way better.
Yeah, it really feels like my arms and hands and turning is happening later, and consequentially my backswing's feeling like it's taking a little bit longer time to complete, which you know I always love when you first said that to me. I think that's such a big concept that you can go play with. So like, okay, so if I'm leaving the 2 lessons and I'm writing my notes down on my phone, my lesson 1 was belly button gets me started back here.
Yes.
My lesson 2 is from here, now I can feel my shoulders, chest, upper part of my back turning as I'm stretching the arms and hands up and back.
Yes.
Those are the pieces to unlock, right? The backswing, turning, length, etc. Maybe even for people who think they're not as flexible or whatever, more power, more distance, more curve left. Spin, what'd you say there before?
Yeah, more left spin axis.
Left spin axis.
Yeah.
So is that good? Is that a good recap of it?
That's a good recap of it. The only thing that I would say is I would see some people do when they get into this halfway back drill, so go to left arm parallel, would have a tendency to have the arms continue to still go in as you add that turn. right? And that's no good. We want to feel a little bit more of the arms going up. If this lead arm starts to load too low across your chest there, as you turn, that's no good, and that's going to feel the stuck position. You're going to feel like you can't turn very much.
So I'm really feeling this is more like kind of down my toe line is what I'm feeling.
Yes, down your toe line, and you're pushing straight up your toe line as you turn.
Got it.
Your brain needs an incentive to get that turn. If you work that arm up, your brain will want to create the depth from actually turning.
So maybe someone who has no turn to start with, they learn the belly button piece first, right? And then they can work into this drill, go back, and then get that up to the top.
Yes.
Then I'm hitting with video, trying to record it, do the same things.
Yes.
Beautiful. All right, dude.
Good
Backswing turn, guys, that's how you unlock more backswing turn, the timing. And I'm willing to bet if you do that, if someone would do that and they record themselves, I bet that you're able to get way more backswing turn, because I've seen you do this, way more backswing turn, way more swing length and depth than you think you physically are capable of doing. So hopefully that helps you guys. You guys have any questions, as always, leave a comment down below. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you liked the video, do us a favor, click that like button down below, click the subscribe button, and also leave a comment down below. It really helps us out. The more interaction there is between us, YouTube likes that, sends our videos out to more people, really helps us. If you want to support the channel, you can click that little like button down there. Appreciate that. If you do like these YouTube style videos, we're gonna put a card on the screen for a very similar video like this. If you wanna hop over to Cogorno Golf, check that out, see what it's all about, work with me so I can help improve your golf game. We'll also put that on the screen. Thank you guys for watching.